Hey guys, what's up? Caleb Downing here, and today we're going to try to see if a couple little upgrades on this build make it run a little bit better. Let's get into it. All right, so a couple little things, two things. Number one, the bolt carrier group, the CMMG rated delay bolt carrier group. We put in a brand new spring, ejector spring. Ejector spring, not extractor spring, ejector spring, sorry. Brand new spring. And then we also put in their largest weight that they have. They have different weights. I think they called it a tuning kit for the carrier, right? You can, most 9mm bolts and even some AR-15 bolts, you can put weights back in there just to add weight for different reasons and stuff. This guy's been having terrible cycling issues, so we're going to see if that extra weight helps. Also, we have the KynShot buffer system in here now. Standard spring KynShot buffer. I'm going to see, hopefully, if these two things combined, number one, make the gun shoot smoother. Rated delayed already shoots really smooth. And number two, hopefully this will actually cycle properly. So let's try it out. Let's get into it. That's the issue we've had this whole time. It was really soft. Dadgum, it didn't cycle though. Dadgum, same thing, same difference, man. Dadgum it. No, ultra soft, but definitely doesn't cycle. Okay, well that's extremely frustrating. Okay, now how come it ejects if there's nothing in there? If there's no magazine? Maybe it's a magazine issue, that's really weird. There you go. Maybe just didn't like that magazine. Could be. Nope. Still got that little hiccup. See if it holds back. No, didn't hold back. As far as cycling, or not cycling, as far as how it feels, it is very smooth. Like, that is very smooth. If only it would consistently cycle, it would be much, much better. Yeah, maybe I can play around with some different weights and stuff in there and see if those different weights would help. Anyway, maybe I can play around with some of those different weights and kind of tune it up a little bit. So a lot of that must have to do with that KynShot, because that is very, very smooth. You can see how the KynShot buffer in there, when it's in there, when you rack it, it'll come back this far, but then there's an extra, I don't know if that's a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, whatever, it's longer than a 1/2 inch. I don't know. There's an extra little oomph in there where you get a little bit of extra bufferage going on. You definitely can tell, and you definitely can notice that it is very smooth, but that combined with the radio delayed, that's pretty slick. That's actually really pretty slick.
It was at this point that I decided to go ahead and use a standard blowback upper and try to use it on that same lower that I was using. Well, I completely forgot. I had taken out the ejector on that specific Foxtrot mic lower because the CMMG rated delayed bolt carrier group already has an ejector built into the bolt carrier group, and you have to take out the standard blowback ejector. So I ran into a bunch of issues, kept griping and arguing to myself about it. It was my own dumb fault. I took out that ejector. So I figured that out here in a minute, and I end up swapping everything over. So this is basically going to be a standard buffer and buffer spring with a direct blowback upper receiver, non-CMMG.
Okay, well that was all stupid and retarded. Basically, I forgot the lower I was using did not have an ejector in it because I was playing around with the radio delayed system. Anyway, that's a long story short. We're not going to include all that footage because that's worthless. Now that we have a system that should work, this should work perfectly fine. This should be normal. This should be very normal. This has a heavy spring actually in here and a heavy buffer. That's how I like to run my setup. Hopefully this is going to work now, and this should be how a standard feelsies are for an AR9. Yeah, it's got a thump, it's got a little push, a little punch, it's sharper than like even an AR-15. Yeah, it's quick, violent, and over. QVO, hey, he's got a good channel. Anyway, that's this, right? It's not terrible, but it does have that very classic punch to it. Now let's swap out just the buffer and see how that changes anything, or if it changes anything. All right, so first off, the RB5007, we're using a blue Sprinko spring. This gives you that extra little movement in the back, all right? So let's do a couple rounds of this and see how that works. Oops. Okay, yeah, that definitely works. It is a noticeable difference. It's a little tamer. It's still an AR9, but it's a little bit tamer. That's not bad. That's not bad. It is still a quick snap, but it does actually help reduce some of that punch that you feel. Let's put in the HD version to see if that makes any difference at all. All right, so here's the HD version. This should give us the most amount that they would recommend, or the highest reduction in recoil that they have standard for an AR9. Those were English words, but I don't know if I strung them together in a sentence that makes sense. So here we go. Okay. It still got some of that punch, but was definitely not as punchy. Definitely not as punchy. Definitely not as punchy. I'm gonna go straight back to the regular buffer and see how that feels these now. So this is a standard buffer. Oh yeah. Straight back to the HD. Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference there. Okay, there's definitely a difference there. So, is this, in my opinion, so far, look at it, I wish I could put numbers on it. I have this little measuring gauge. We tried to use this thing every time that I would shoot. It would, well, the batteries would jostle and it would turn itself off. That would give us actual data numbers on like what the foot-pounds of recoil are. It's just not working right. So what I can tell you is a regular heavy buffer, heavy spring feels like an AR9, which is that's your baseline. Both of these other systems, the HD and the 5007, you definitely have a reduction in that felt recoil. You absolutely do. It still is a different feel than a 5.56. 5.56 is they just feel 5.56 and 9mm obviously feel different, but it is smoother. It's not as punchy right there at the end. I think that's how it works, right? At the very end of the travel, you get that extra little buffer, and that absolutely works. Is it there for you? Like, is it something that you need? It all depends. Are you trying to maximize how smooth your system runs? Then it would definitely be something to look into. As far as recoil systems go, I mean, aside from just messing around with different weighted buffers, because even if you get a different weighted buffer, it's, for me, on my builds, even at the heaviest buffers that I can get, it still has that punchy feeling to it, which still feels like an AR9. This still feels like an AR9, but it's smoother, especially at the end there, which is where everything ends up doing that recoil thing, because all that mass ends and goes into your shoulder. That thing really helps at KynShot. So anyway, I'm gonna keep playing around with it. That's just kind of a first little look there. I'm gonna put it in different builds and stuff and just give a little bit more information over time as I use it. But I'd love to hear back from you guys. Do you guys use any of these KynShot buffers? Or what special kind of buffer systems do you use in your AR9? All right, let's spread that knowledge around. Let's see whatever, you know, see what works for you, and maybe it works for somebody else. Maybe what somebody else uses works for you. I don't know. We'll see. All right, none of that made any sense, and I'm a little bit distracted. So we're gonna cut it short right there. Y'all be good to be safe. I appreciate you, and hopefully we'll catch you guys next time. See you.